Hey, this is Mad Movie Mark of the Mad Movie Mark Movie Review. Thank you for joining me as I review the 2013 Icelandic drama of Horses and Men. Um, I'm right here, guys. There's nothing going on behind me. There's no reason for the binoculars. Horses and Men has a 100% fresh rating from the critics on Rotten Tomatoes and a 71% fresh rating from the audience. I'm currently reviewing every movie with a 100% fresh rating from the critics, and I will eventually rank them from worst to best. So this movie, in my opinion, is not a very good movie. I'll just throw it out there right away. When this movie opens up, we are introduced to a gentleman on a horse. I'm really not sure what his name is. I don't even know if it really matters, but he's like one of the main characters in the movie, and he's riding a horse, and apparently there's not a whole lot to do in this Icelandic town but watch this guy ride a horse with binoculars. So they're watching him ride his horse, and eventually another horse a male stallion comes up from behind the female horse and starts making love to the female horse. And the male stallion runs off, and the guy is very disturbed, I guess, by what he saw, what just happened, because he was on his female horse as the male horse was making love, and he ends up shooting his female horse for reasons I have no idea. So I was very put off by this. I honestly hate when animals are hurt in movies. I mean, he wasn't really hurt, but I saw no reason for this at all. Like, there was no reason given in the movie about why this would be happening. Was he afraid that his horse was going to now be impregnated by the male horse? Was he just so embarrassed by this that he decided to shoot the female horse, who really all she did was just stand there? I mean, what's the reason for this guy shooting his horse? So he ends up shooting this horse, which he seems like it's a horse that he really loves, and he ends up burying the horse. Now, there's another. This is just different storylines in a movie that just go on randomly. It's just about a town and how these people in their town use their horses. So the next story is about a guy who's trying to ride a couple of his horses through town, and he runs into this wired fence that's like blocking his path. And I guess the guy who owns the fence, he's upset at him for blocking his path. So he takes a bunch of wire cutters and starts cutting the fence. Now the guy who owns the fence gets mad, and he chases after this guy on a tractor. He starts going after this guy. Now the guy who's cutting this wire fence ends up cutting the wrong part of the wire, and it snaps up and blinds him in the eyes. And the guy in the tractor ends up somehow going over a cliff. I'm assuming he dies while he's doing this. It's just very odd. Now, eventually, the guy who went blind in one eye, his daughter comes and takes him back home. And then there's another story of a guy who's in love with this girl who rides horses. Now, this guy doesn't seem like he owns a horse or rides a horse, but he asks if he can borrow one. And he eventually rides with this group of people, and he falls behind because they all know how to ride the horses fast, and he only knows how to ride slow. So instead of making sure that this guy is okay, understanding that he's falling behind and that maybe someone should go back after him, they just kind of let him get lost, and he ends up getting lost in this very cold at night, and his horse is dying. So he kills the horse, and he slashes him open to kind of do a Star Wars sleep inside the animal type thing, like they did in the episode 3. And he ends up going inside of the horse and sleeping in him, and then they find him the next day, and I'm assuming that he lives. Oh yeah, there's another story as well where this guy is riding his horse in the water, in this ocean. And it almost seems like he's nearly drowning his horse in the ocean. And he gets to this Russian boat, and he asks if he can buy, I think it's vodka or something off this Russian boat. And they sell him rubbing alcohol or something, alcohol that's very strong, but you shouldn't drink it. And they tell him, here, don't drink this alcohol. It's very strong. And the Icelandic guy is yes, vodka, very strong vodka. Yes, I drink. very good. And the guy on the ship is all like, no, don't drink the vodka, don't drink this alcohol. It's very bad, very powerful. Don't drink it. And he's like, yes, I drink. Very well, very good. So of course he starts drinking it and it ends up killing him. And he has to have like, they have this funeral for him and it's like this big thing in the town. And I mean, this is essentially, the movie's like an hour and 15 minutes. And that's the entire movie. Just like different scenes about how people interact with their horses, and they're interacting badly with their horses. They're maybe it's just because I'm from the US, and like we actually like ride our horses like gently and out in the open, and we don't take them in oceans, and we don't shoot them for having sex with another horse. It's just very weird to me, like the way these horses are being treated. It almost reminds me of Balthazar, how he just gets treated like crap through the whole movie. He's a donkey and he just gets treated like crap because he's supposed to be like some sort of Jesus Christ character. But these horses, I mean, I thought this was going to be about a town who like loves their horses deeply, and about the bond of man and horse. Like that's what I thought this was going to be about, and like that never-ending, never wavering friendship that horses and men have with each other. But it's really just like, how can I accomplish this feat that I need to accomplish while on a horse? Even if the horse is going to live or die, it doesn't matter. I just need to accomplish whatever thing in my head that I want to accomplish. At least that's what I got out of this movie. It really didn't seem like a lot of these people even cared about their horses. I mean, the guy who ended up like sleeping inside of his horse, he did seem like he was traumatized by the whole event. He actually was traumatized that he has to like open a horse, and they actually show him like taking out the insides of the horse. Obviously it's not real, but taking out the insides of the horse so he can sleep inside of it. He's obviously traumatized by this event. But I mean, the guy who's riding his horse through the ocean, he doesn't seem to care. The guy who shoots his horse for making love, that other horse made love to him. I mean, it seems like he loves that horse, but also seems like he just like shoots him without even like giving a thought about it. He just shoots his horse. It's just to open with that is very weird, considering the kind of movie that I thought it was going to be. The opening scene is everyone clapping for him and saying, yeah, you're riding your horse and I'm looking at you with binoculars. And then he shoots the horse. Like, that's just it's just so weird to me. This movie, I don't know why it was made. I don't know why it has 100% fresh rating. I don't know why it matters to anyone, because to me, maybe this is how you have to have horses in Iceland, how they have to serve a purpose, how they have to serve man, and this is just the terrible tragedies that might befall them while they're serving man. Maybe that's what this is going for. But I honestly have no idea, because I'm so far detached from that kind of life that I don't know if that's what they were going for or not. But to me, it's just a movie about like people who are treating horses badly and who are just trying to accomplish whatever they need to accomplish, whether their horse is fine or not. And it's just not the kind of movie for me. I didn't really like anything about this movie. And then I looked it up on IMDb, and this movie's supposed to be a comedy. Like, a comedy? How is this movie a comedy? Where the only thing in this movie that I thought was funny in the least, like a little bit funny, was when the guy drives his tractor over the edge of the cliff, because it was just so ridiculous. He was so hell-bent on getting revenge for this person for destroying his fence that he didn't think about it. He just like went with his instinct, went with his anger, and he just was like just pursuing this guy, and his anger got the best of him, and he went over this cliff. And to me, that situation, like what actually happened to him, was kind of funny, because he could have handled it so much better and didn't. But there's literally nothing else in this movie at all that I laughed at. Like, nothing. It was not funny to me in the least. And it says it's supposed to be a comedy drama. Like, I see the drama in it, but I don't see the comedy. I have no idea what they were talking about. But I give the movie a 5 out of 10. I really didn't like this movie at all. Thank you. Have a great day.